Hey everybody, welcome back to K&K Crochet. I'm KK.
I'm Kristen.
And by now you know that, well, if you don't know, I don't know where you've been. We are getting ready to introduce the baby into the family in September. And yes, we're super excited and we talk about it a lot because it's the first grandbaby. So, I had shown you when I did the reveal that it was going to be a girl. I showed you the color of the yarn and showed you the pattern I was using. And now it's done. So I'm going to show you what I finished, and I will link the pattern in the description box below because I can't ever remember what it is. A subscriber sent the pattern suggestion to me, and then I had Red Heart Ombre Jazzy yarn, and that's what I chose to use. And this is not quite 2 skeins. Kristen used part of it for a project, and then I used part of it to make bunny noses, so it's not quite 2 skeins, but it's, I think I said it was what, 28 inches square, or was it bigger?
I think it was 28.
Yeah, so maybe like a car seat blanket. Yeah, so Kristen, if you'll help. So this is what it turned out. Pull over a little bit. So that's what it turned out to look like. It's been folded up, so, but yeah, I love this. I love the way the colors played out.
I was about to knock it off my hand.
I love the patterning. These shells are so beautiful. Kind of reminds me of a virus shawl kind of pattern mixed with something else, but it's a shell stitch and just so pretty. It worked up really well. I would definitely recommend that you make this blanket. It's super easy. It's a 2 pattern repeat, and
2 pattern?
2 pattern, 2, she's been correcting me all day. 2 round repeat, and I just really love it. I think that's beautiful for a baby.
Oh yeah.
And it's completely done. So that's 3 baby blankets finished for my kiddos, 1 for each one. And you know, well, I guess if this one has a boy later, it's gonna have a pink blanket. No, I'll make more. But I just wanted to make sure they all had one, and since this one's already on the way, I could choose a colorway that was exact instead of just neutral. Kristen's is neutral. It has greens and
it's ice cream pistachio yarn.
Has greens and whites and grays and all kinds of colors. And Luke's is not neutral. I don't guess it's camouflage,
but
that's what he chose, so it's okay. So that's that one. And then I have another blanket that's not finished that you've been looking at, but it is a big part of it's finished. So this is one of the Christmas blankets I'm working on. And you're going to see a few ends that aren't woven in because I need to go back over and I'm going to do stitching around the outside to make a border. Y'all pray. I don't know what it is about me that when I go around, this is a C to C, and when I go around, I know what stitches go where. I know how to do it. But when I get to doing it and looking at it, for some reason, it's always not enough or too many, and it comes out wonky, cattywampus, as Kristen says, and it doesn't look right. So I'm praying I could do this right because I really like the way this middle section came out. So this is for my youngest. Like I said, he's not here, so, and he doesn't watch our YouTube, so hopefully you can see that if I back up enough, that is a deer head with horns, and it even kind of looks like right there that he has eyes and mouth and nose and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of odd.
Like that because the camo.
So the camo gave me a little bit of a problem mixing it with the black because of course there are areas of black in the camo, and yeah, and the only thing about this pattern is there are several places in the horns where, you know, you have one set of blocks going up catty cornered, and then there might be one that, you know, isn't there at that time or something, like it skips over to the side, and then in between it leaves like a gap looking thing, especially with the black. So you'll see maybe in a couple places that I had to like go in and sew over with the yarn at the end when I was done, and I left extra long yarn tails for that reason. And I know that happens sometimes in corner to corner. If you all have tips for that, let me know. But it just really kind of aggravated me that, like I even ripped out like 2.5 rows one time because I thought that doesn't match up right. Like I would have a camouflage here and a camouflage to the side, and they just didn't match up. It looked like they had a black between them because the horn goes up. You know how it is, you have to do the squares go in a line like that, and they're, I don't know what I'm trying to say, you know, pixelated. And so then when you get down to it, you have 2 blacks that run through in a catty corner like this in between the line of camouflage, and it just doesn't look right. So I fixed it. It happens in all C to C, I know that. But it's making me question whether or not I want to do this one again. Because I do need to do another one for my oldest son, and I wanted to do the same pattern. This did work up fairly quickly. It would have been quicker had I not pushed. The first week I did it, I pushed really hard to get to the halfway point. I never did get to the halfway point during that week because I hurt my arm doing it. And so I have learned some exercises since then to do to limber up my arms and my hands before I crochet and while I'm doing it, and I am trying to take more breaks. So what I plan to do now is go around the edging in black. That's why you see some of these yarn tails, because I'm going to work over those. I've sewn all the other ends in. There were tons. There are 2 colors in this blanket. You would think, okay, there's not that many ends. There were tons. Because you change so often. Mainly because right here in the horns when you're going through here, okay, you're black, then camo, then black, then camo, then black, then camo, then black, then camo. And in between you've got to add in these new starts, you know, or carry your yarn, and I don't normally do that too often. If it's just one, I will, but if it's more than that, I don't. So I plan to go around in black on the edging, and then I'm going to start, I don't know how I'm going to do it at first. I may do a single crochet round of black, and then a double crochet round of black, and then I want to do a round of camo, or 2, we'll see, and then do another round of black, and depending on how big it gets then, I may do a variation of stripes like that until it gets as big as I want it to be. Right now, I believe it's 36 inches across and 41 inches down. And I knew that this was going to be smaller because she says in the pattern that this is actually for a baby blanket. So for a baby blanket, that would be pretty much right? 36 by 41 would be perfect. But this is for my teenage son. And he's 5'6".
7.
Yeah, so it's got to be bigger. So the 36 is okay. I mean, it's like throw size, you know, almost as far as covering your lap. But so I'm hoping to go around enough to make the border big enough so that it's wide enough and long enough for him. I just want basically a throw size. So I'm pretty close. You know, maybe 4 inches to get to 40 to 42 inches, whatever, wide. I don't want it super big, just something that he can cuddle up with on the couch or whatever. It's not meant to be a bed blanket. So, and then I need to start on the others. So I've got this blanket knocked out, which I'm super happy is done. And I started it after this one. And then I've got this one knocked out. And I believe I started this one the last week of February. And there was probably 2 weeks that I didn't touch it. Because, like I said, I hurt my hand and my arm. And I worked on some other projects that were smaller that I could quit and put down, you know, in between times. So, if that's the case, it's been less than a month to get this part of it. So if before the end of the month I can finish the border on it, that means I did it in a month, and I'll be happy with that because I have 4 more to do. And yeah, maybe I might pick something easier. My husband suggested if I'm going to do this pattern again that maybe I shouldn't use the camo, that I should use a different color for the deer. And I thought about that. I'm just not sure what it would be. I mean, I know I could use like a brown, but I'm not sure what color. Maybe the cafe latte. Let me see your doll. Maybe the cafe latte? What do you think?
I think it'd be good.
Cafe latte with black for the deer? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I'm debating. I need to get started working out the logistics of the next one so that when I'm done with this one, I can roll right into that one. In my mind, I'm thinking, let's hurry up and get them all done real quick right now. But I know that's not how that works. I know. I knew that when I took on 5 blankets. So next year, I hope not to take on 5 blankets. I also have another blanket on the hook, which is mine, my Grinch blanket. But I have done very little to it, and I don't care because it's mine. So I'll get to it when I get to it. I'll pick it up in a live and work on it a little bit. I'll throw in, you know, a couple of lines in it when I'm tired of working on other things. I just really, if I get this first blanket knocked out, then it will give me encouragement to go ahead and do the other 4. And they are all going to be about this size. It's not going to be huge. It'll be like a throw size. But even this is enough. I mean, I think there were 48 rows up. I'm pretty sure. And so, you know, by the time you get that far, and then you work back across the other way and work down. And this one, I always get encouraged when I get so far because, you know, when you start a corner to corner, the first part of it, like I had, let's say I started over here. There's like a huge chunk of it that's all black, and you go through that like butter, right? You're like flying through it. And then you get to the color changes, and even when I got to this where there's just one color change, it's not so bad. But then when you get up here and you're doing the horns, and you've got, you know, black to camo to black to camo to black to camo to black to, it's a lot, and it kind of bogs you down. And then, but usually when you get to the end, you have another large portion that's all one color. Well, not with this one, because see, the camo comes all the way up to here. So you had just this little patch right here that was at the top that was not. Yeah, I'm looking because I thought I saw another weird looking. See, the black and the camo, they mesh together so much sometimes when the black is in the camo. But I still think my youngest will like it. I think it turned out really nice. And I think he will really like it. And can you see it there?
Yeah.
So you can see the deer head. And he's an avid hunter and fisherman. So that would be the only other thing I might be able to do for my other son. He is big time fisherman, so maybe I could do his as a fish. I don't know. My greatest fear is at Christmas they'll open them up and they'll go, oh, I wanted that one.
No.
I'm not making another one. We'll see. So that's all I have for today. Don't forget to be kind, because
you don't know anybody else's journey.
Let us know in the bottom, in the description box, in the comments, if you have any tips for C2C. I've given a bunch, especially where those color changes, where you have the squares that are diagonal like that, and they come together sometimes and they don't quite mesh the right way. This had everything to do with the way the horns came together, and the fact that the horns would, you know, come up so far and then they would go off to the side, and I don't know, some areas I just wasn't happy with. And like I said, I ripped out 2.5 rows and redid it, and it's exactly the same thing. It's just the way the pattern's made. So, but I will leave the pattern down below, and I don't know that there's any other way you could do it when you're trying to create something that's round with a square. Putting a square peg in a round hole, right? It doesn't work that way. So anyway, don't forget to be kind, because
you don't know anybody else's journey.
I know we already said that, but it doesn't hurt to say it again. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.